All right, lecture 19, array lists. So we have our arrays, right? We were just talking about arrays. So when you create an array, the length cannot be changed. If you create an array of size 5, it's going to stay 5 whether you delete some items in there, some values in there. You cannot add any items to it. There's no built-in method to clear the list, right? You'd have to go through each one individually and set it equal to 0 or empty string. And there's no built-in search method. So we just did the search. We had to create that for loop and look through our entire list. Will come array lists. These have all those features added into them. Items can be added, removed, and modified. There's a built-in clear method, and there's a built-in search method. Right? Array lists are not in your book, the chapters that we're in, so there is no reading quiz associated with this lecture. But I wanted you all to know what an array list is, just in case you needed something a little bit more dynamic than an array. For our purposes in this class, we'll mostly just focus on arrays, but array lists are powerful tools at your disposal as well. So how do we declare an array list? Similar to how we do other things, except we cannot use regular lowercase int and regular lowercase double to create it. We must use the capital version of those. The reason being is array lists only take in the class type, right? So the class type of an int is actually capital integer. The class type of a double is actually capital double. Strings are already capitalized as capital strings, right? So they're already the class type, okay? And so what I mean by this is if I go back to the code, let's delete this one. Let's create a new project for lecture 19. All right. So if I want to create an array list of integers, I can't do this. All right, that gives me an error. First error is I need to import array list. The second error, I can't use that. I can't just do int. I have to do integer, capital integer. Same thing goes for doubles. Array list double weights. Cannot do this. I must capitalize double. With strings, it's already capitalized, so it works. Okay? This is how we declare our array lists. All right, that's how we declare array lists. We say array list, the type, and then the name. Instantiating an array list, or actually creating it, we use our new keyword, just like our arrays. We do scores equals new array list, greater than, lower than symbols, and then our parentheses. So you see here, array list, we had greater than and lower than right here, and we put in our data type. Well, to actually create these array lists, we just do scores equals new array list, greater than, lesser than, open close parentheses. All right, same thing goes for weights. Weights equals new array list, greater than, less than, open close parentheses. And the last one, names equals new array list, greater than, less than, open close parentheses. And there you go. We've created or instantiated our actual array list so we can use it now. If we don't have this line right here, new, we can't use it. We'll get errors trying to use it. All right, so just like an array, when we create our arrays, we can actually do all of this on one line, okay? So array list data type name equals new array list, greater than, less than, open close parentheses. And that's what I have down here, all on one line. We don't have to separate it into two lines if we don't want to, or if we don't have to. Okay. So we go to the code for that. Scores equals new array list greater than, less than, open close parentheses. Weights equals new array list greater than, less than, open close parentheses. And names equals new array list greater than, less than, open close parentheses. And there you go. So we've created our array list, we've declared it, and instantiated it all on the same line. And this is the version, this is the method I prefer, all on one line. All right. Check that out for a second. All right. So how do we actually use these array lists? I'm talking about how to create them. Let's actually use them. So adding to an array list. All right, we look here, we just do list.add whatever item we want to add to it. And items are added one after another. So here, let's say we create an array list, scores equals new array list. And you see down here, it created our array list. Let's add 14 to our array list. What do you think it does? It adds 14 to our array list at index 0. Let's add 27 to our array list. What do you think it does? Adds 27 to our array list at index 1. And this process continues, so on and so forth. Add 7, add 15, add 64. You see we're adding all of these one after another. All right? So if we look at the code, I'm going to delete these two array lists right here. We just do scores dot add and then whatever integer we want. Scores dot add, again whatever integer, scores dot add. It's the same process. Over and over again. And you can do this inside of a loop if you want to add a whole bunch of different things, just like in an array. Except this one is dynamic. We don't know the size or the final size of our scores, so we can just keep adding to it as we see fit. So on and so forth. All right. All right, so that's adding. So how do we remove or subtract, delete from our array list? Well, we do list.remove and we pass in whatever index we want to delete from. When you remove from the list, the items after that specific index are pushed forward. The remaining items have their indices updated as well. So scores.remove, index 2. So we see 7 right here is at index 2. So we're going to remove 7, and these other remaining ones are going to be pushed forward. So watch this. 15 will be pushed forward one slot, so will 64. You saw that? So we delete index 2. These other ones are pushed forward. Okay? So there's no gaps in your array list when you delete a value. The other ones get pushed forward. So let's remove index 0. Again, all the remaining ones will be pushed forward. All right? So here we are. We delete index 0, which is currently 14. We push the remaining ones forward. Okay? All right. We can also set the different values. As long as you use, and in any of these examples, you must provide an index right here that's within your array list. If you pass an index that's like a negative number, you're going to get an error. If you pass an index, say for example in this one, a 5, you'll get an error. That's outside the bounds of your array list. And that goes for arrays as well. Let's say we want to set scores.set index 2 to 31. So here's index 2. We're going to set it equal to 31. Now let's set scores at index 0 to 12. So scores index 0 now equals 12. Getting. So if we get if we do scores.get index 1, that's index 1 right here, it's going to return a 15. Same thing, index 2, it's going to return a 31. Right? So setting, getting, adding, removing. Searching is easy as well. We don't have to do a full for loop, all that stuff. There's a built-in method, is .contains. It returns true if it's in there, it returns false if it's not. So if we do scores.contains 64, we know that's not in there. That returns a false. However, if we do scores.contains 12, that returns true. Right? 12 is in there. I'll show you that in the code. So system.out.println scores.contains, let's do a 55. That should return false, right? Now if I put 75, that should return true, right? 75 is inside of our array list. It has a built-in searching function or method, right? So that makes it a little bit easier. We don't have to write the full code for that like we have to do for arrays. It has it built in. Sorting, similar to arrays, we do collections. Instead of arrays.sort, we do collections.sort. And it sorts it in ascending order. You see, this was sorted in ascending order. Now I'll show you that with code. So, we could do collections.sort, pass in our scores. And when I do that, it automatically imports java.util.collections up here. And so to print this out, system.out.println, actually we need a for loop to iterate through our array list. For int I equals 0, I is less than scores. So it's not size, it's not length, it's dot size to get how many items are in our array list. I++. And then to print this out, system.out.print scores.get I. And I want to concatenate a space in there as well. So to get the indexes, we do .get and it prints it out. Collections.sort, I expect this to be sorted in ascending order. You see here, it was sorted in ascending order. So you may be wondering why I put this here, system.out.println. It's so that it puts our last line on a new line. You see build.successful is all on the same line. I want that on a new line down here. That's why I put this here. But you see it sorted our array list in ascending order. Collections.sort. You can also do, that's ascending order. You can also do descending order, which we do collections.sort list collections.reverse order, right? And then here's our example, sort scores collection.reverse order. It's going to sort it in descending order. So these will swap. And that's what you see here. Now it's in descending order, 31, 15, 12. Okay? And I'll show you that in the code as well. So let's do this. Let's copy this again. Paste it down here. We have collection.sort scores. That's going to do ascending. Let's do descending. Collections dot reverse order. And now it's going to do it in descending order. And you see that here. Again, let's put this on a new line. Oops. Actually, I want to put 2 of these so there's some space. You see, the first one does it in ascending order, and the second one does it in descending order. And that's what the collections.reverse order does right here. Okay? Pretty straightforward. So that's sorting. We've done sorting, searching, adding, removing, getting, setting. I already used this method once. To get the full size of your array list, you just call the .size method. And so for this example, it will return 3, right? Because there's only 3 items in here. For our coding example, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So scores.size will return 6. Okay? Just like we have our array, we do array.length. For ArrayLists, we do ArrayList.size. And then we have a built-in method to completely clear the array list of all of its items. And that's just calling the .clear method. And what do? We call scores.clear, and it clears our scores. They're all gone. All right? And we can start over with our array list and add more scores to it. And that's it. Any questions, array lists or searching and sorting arrays? All right, we covered both today. Array lists are really helpful. With your programs, you can use arrays or array lists. I'm not going to tell you which one to use. So it's up to you. For the lab, again, the lab will be extra credit. It will replace whatever your lowest lab grades are, or lab grade, one of your lowest lab grades. The assignment is still due on Sunday, assignment 10. Plus, we will have our next exam on Monday. Okay? Any questions? On Friday, we have the guest lecture, and your attendance is mandatory and on time. Plus, I need you all to turn on your cameras on Friday as well. Okay? Any questions?